Hey there, howdy. It's Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky Guy. Welcome to my Friday Find. It's finally Friday. I can't believe it, end of the week. It's been a busy week in astronomy news and for me too. Beautiful weather. I'm in Montreal, Canada. Welcome. I hope you're having nice weather wherever you are, or you're in store for some and maybe some stargazing too. It's just been gorgeous here in Montreal, Canada. We've got almost 20 degrees Celsius and clear skies. It's pretty much very rare, unheard of in November to have this kind of weather. Sometimes we even have snow on the ground around this time. So, of course, I'm taking advantage of it, being outside and loving the stargazing too. Clear skies a lot of the times, snapping photos. I don't know if you've seen some of my photos on Instagram or maybe on Facebook or Twitter. Wherever you're watching, on YouTube or wherever, welcome. This is Friday Find. And if this is the first time you're here, I'm basically sharing some things that have come across my desk as an astronomy journalist that looks interesting, little news bits that come, in my inbox and really captures my imagination. And they go, that is really cool, and I'd like to share it. And that's what this little live stream's about, is just sharing some things. And I'd love to hear where you're watching from. I can see folks from South Africa, Ontario, Canada, Turkey. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me. Why don't we just dive in right away? And this is the first little news that came into my desk actually this morning. This is really, really new stuff. So I don't know if you've seen it on somewhere on the internet, but astronomers have discovered the closest black hole to Earth. This is done by the Gemini North Telescope, which is a huge observatory in Hawaii. And it's just a fantastic, large, one of the best, most quality instruments around. It reveals first dormant stellar mass black hole in our cosmic backyard. So here we're talking about, here's a nice, bigger image of what we're talking about. It's basically, when they say dormant, it means, first, dormant means it's not eating. It's not gobbling up things that you normally see in Hollywood movies and other, animations of black holes where it's sucking in matter, like any wayward star that would come up. And when it does that, when it does eat, when the black hole actually pulls in because of its extreme gravity pull objects, it tears them apart. What happens is like what's called spaghettification, pulled apart. And when it comes to stars and other matter, a lot of times they release a lot of energy in X-rays, gamma rays, things like that. And we can detect all these different rays, radio waves as well. We can detect black holes as they're munching, as they're devouring the hapless stars that wander too close. And that's how we see them. But in dormant black holes, as in you see in this depiction, and this is an artist depiction, it's a black hole that is just kind of on a diet right now, and it's just sort of slumbering or hibernating, and it's not really eating at the moment. So they're really hard to detect because we can't see any radiation coming from them. However, as you can see, there's a star right next to it. In this case, this star happens to be a sun-like star, they say. And this is what's so interesting, is that this yellow star is apparently very sun-like, and it is orbiting this black hole. So what you can imagine is that you've got a black hole, and it's called a stellar mass black hole, by the way. So what that means is basically a stellar mass black hole is something that's on the order of a size of a star. One singular star created this black hole. There's different sizes of black holes out there, right? So there's ones, they come in like in pizza sizes, small, medium, and large, and extra large. The extra large ones, what they're called supermassive, they're at the centers of galaxies, like the Milky Way galaxy has one at the center. And these stellar ones are small black holes, and they're created when a very large star dies. Something that's maybe a few times the mass, or up to 100 times the mass of our sun. And when a large star like that burns out very quickly, by the way, they only live for a few million years, maybe up to 100 million years or 10 million years, and they just die in a supernova explosion, basically, almost in a massive explosion. And what's left is a black hole, where the gravity is so strong that not even light, the beams of light even, are bent back. So you can't see it. That's why it's black. And so in this stellar mass black hole that we're talking about, it's orbiting orbiting it a sun-like star. And so you can imagine the setup of this pair is very much like having, if you would replace our sun, if you take our solar system and you place our sun at the center with this black hole, and then you have Earth replaced by this particular star that's orbiting this black hole, that's the setup. And so you have this sun-like star orbiting this stellar mass black hole. And we don't really understand how that's possible. And where is this happening? It's happening in the constellation Ophiuchus. That's the part of the sky it's Ophiuchus. And here is here's a nice little short animation that shows a sun-like star orbiting this black hole. It's called Gaia BH1, and it's the closest black hole to Earth so far discovered, and it's located 1,600 light years away. You can see here the sun-like star in this short little artist animation showing where the black hole is right there, and this sun-like star orbits this black hole. And we've discovered this black hole not by the fact that it's munching, because it's not devouring anything, but by the orbit of this star around it. This is very cool because, one, it's a black hole that is the closest we've ever that to our solar system. No worries, it's not going to gobble us up because it's 1,600 light years away, very far away. But and so we have a ringside seat that's safe. But it's really cool because it allows us to investigate this with greater detail. Now that we found it, we think that we can investigate this much better and understand how black holes live, how they munch on things or don't munch on things. In this case, it's dormant, but really it's literally in our cosmic backyard. So we have a great view of it. So this is a fantastic story. I'm going to put this into the comments. Let me see if I can get that in here. And so you can read up on it yourself. Let me see, where is it? Where is it? Let me see if I can get this in there. Let me see, copy it over into, there we go. And so you guys can read it on your own. It's a lot of fun. It's a press release that's done by the NSF, the National Science Foundation in the United States, released this. It's one of their telescopes, the Gemini North Telescope in Hawaii, that did this. Fantastic stuff. Read it. It's really cool. Black holes that are dormant in our cosmic backyard. So that is very cool. What else is there? Well, there's also this announcement that came today. Thought this was interesting. NASA sets coverage for the Artemis 1 moon mission. Well, we've all heard about this. We waited for this first return of the human rated vehicles back to the moon. And in this case, NASA's the Artemis program is very much harkens back to what the Apollo program was 50 years ago when humans went to the moon the first time. Now we're returning, and the Artemis mission is really testing out its launch vehicle, the SLS, the Space Launch System. This is the mega rocket booster system and Orion capsule that sits here at the top that is being tested in a real flight situation of going out to the moon, circling the moon, and coming back in about a month-long mission. Now we can expect that NASA says it's targeting November 14th as its launch date. It's a 69-minute launch window that opens at 12:07 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the launch countdown will begin Saturday, November 12th at 12:27 a.m. It's the first integrated flight test of NASA's Space Launch System rocket, an uncrewed, so there's no humans on board, of the Orion spacecraft. That sits right here at the top. And it will pave the way for a crewed test flight and future human lander exploration as part of Artemis. So, and it says the SLS rocket and the Orion spacecraft that's sitting on top of the rocket arrived Friday, November 4th at about 8:30 a.m. So it's on the launch pad once more. You can see it right there. It was put into the vehicle assembly building back in September when there was that hurricane that blew through Florida. And they had to basically protect the rocket, and they put it back in the vehicle assembly building for that. And of course, looking at what other, some of the plumbing problems that they had aboard with the fuel tank systems and the propellants that are on board, they had to make sure they're all working. And of course, recharging the batteries that are on board with this propellant system that helps it, has all the brain power, the electronic brain power on board. All of that had to be recharged. Faulty temperature sensors were looked at. So a whole bunch of things. And that is something I am really looking forward to, is the launch. I'm crossing my fingers that we'll see NASA's rocket launch. So that came across my desk as well. I don't know if you guys have been on my Facebook feed, but very interesting is the InSight Mars lander. Remember we talked about in a previous episode about, I thought this was really cool. It just came across my desk a couple weeks ago where they detected a Mars quake, and it was caused by a meteor falling on Mars. And that happened on December 24th, on Christmas Eve, was when this meteor fell and dug onto Mars and dug a crater. Well, Mars InSight lander looks like it's heading into its last days. It's covered with dust, as you can see in this photograph. And it's really dying because the solar panels that are giving it power are covered with dust, and so it's not getting enough energy from the sun. And that's okay. The mission is 4 years old. It was designed to live for only 1 year. And a lot of people are saying in my comments here, why didn't they have a brush, like an IKEA a brush or a windshield washer wiper or something on it. It's just, the mission scientists are actually saying on Twitter, I saw, that's where I got this information. They're saying that, look, they're really tickled pink by how well it was designed and how all the amazing discoveries it's made. But it was designed for only 1 year, and its surface worked for 4 years, much, much better. And they had a cap, basically a price cap to the mission. So there was only so much they could build into it. And if they built more contraptions, robotic systems like a wiper, it would have added significant weight to the instruments, to the entire lander, and that would have been very cost prohibitive. So just really interesting insights all coming live. It's wonderful. I mean, today's day and age with the internet, we can converse with these scientists and engineers who build these missions, and you have a question, we can probably get the answer pretty quickly. It's really impressive. So that was on my radar as well. Really interesting today. Of course, we have to talk about the blood moon, the total lunar eclipse that's happening on Monday night, Tuesday morning, November 8th. I've got a guide on my website, thenightskyguide.com. Let me put a link in the comments for you right there. Hold on. And you can read it at your leisure. And it basically has all the timetable, the viewing sites, where you have to be on Earth to see this beautiful event of the moon going into total eclipse. So when and where it's visible, you can find a map there, where to be on Earth to actually see it live. How is it going to unfold? The timing, as of course the moon goes through Earth's shadow. Thanks to some really wonderful stuff provided by Sky and Telescope magazine. Wonderful outfit. The timings are right there for you. You can watch online. Of course, if you follow me, you know that I help out Astronomers Without Borders, and we've put together at AWB a live stream collection page. So if you click on that link right here, it'll take you to the live stream collection page at Astronomers Without Borders. Right there, you can see it, and there'll be a collection already starting. There's a couple, I think, down here of different feeds, live feeds that will be happening. So if you can't see it, you're not on the right side of the world, or it's cloudy, you can check that out. Some background science of why does the moon turn red. It's really basically all the sunrises and sunsets. This is an artist's depiction of it. Check this out. I thought this was really cool. So if you were on the surface of the moon, this is, and it was during the total eclipse of the moon, and you look back at Earth. So you're an astronaut chilling on the moon, and you're looking back at the Earth when it's maximum of the lunar eclipse, the maximum phase. This is what you would see looking back at Earth. Remember, the sun is behind the Earth, right? So what you're seeing is a ring, almost like a ring of fire around the Earth. It's all the sunrises and sunset that are basically beamed towards the moon, making the moon appear orange red. So those beams of sunlight have to travel through the Earth's atmosphere around the ring here, around the edge of the limb of the Earth, right? We're covered with a thin atmosphere. And that is what you're going to be seeing right here on the edge. Cool stuff. I mean, if you were on the moon, this is what you'd see. But we get to see, of course, this is what we get to see, a beautiful moon, orangey red. We don't really know what color it's going to be. It changes from one eclipse to the next, and that's because it depends on how much haze and dust particles, how much particulate matter are in the atmosphere. If there's a volcano explosion somewhere a few months ago, it would potentially create a more deeper or reddish color. So that's where the blood moon moniker comes from in the popular culture these days. But whatever you call it, this eclipse is just gorgeous. You need to see it. And I've got some interesting background in terms of what historically and it has meant to many cultures, and just a little bit of tidbit to make you start thinking about it. Is a bigger connection with humanity when it comes to eclipses. And why don't we see an eclipse every month, even though we get a full moon every month? Yeah, there are the answers right there for you. And there's a really nice little kind of overview of what a lunar eclipse is, 101 by National Geographic. I've put that up on the page. So check that out. The link's right there in the comments for you. So the blood moon is on Tuesday morning, November 8th. It's an early morning affair, so middle of the night. You got to set your alarm. Depends on where you are, either on the east, if you're on Eastern Standard Time, Pacific Standard Time, Hawaii Standard Time. I've also got the universal time listed there for each phase of the eclipse: partial, total, mid-eclipse. So depending on where you are on the world, you'll get to see part of the eclipse, or perhaps none. You might have to go online in some parts, like in Africa, for instance. You'll be out of that, but out of luck. But North and South America are really prime locations, as is New Zealand, Hawaii as well. So really cool stuff. Do check that article out. It'll give you all the guide for that. So there is one more thing, is something that came across my desk, is about the Torrid swarm. This is also called the Halloween fireballs. So what this is it's a meteor shower, and it's usually not much to write about. But what's really cool about this is a link to an article on Earth earthsky.org. Really great outfit as well. Let me see if I can get that back. Come on. And I'll send this to you, and you can read about this as well. Should you bring popcorn, Jeffrey? Yes, exactly. This is something you wanna watch for. So during the eclipse is when this meteor shower is a great time to see, because otherwise the full moon is just too bright and it's going to wash out all the meteors. But the Torrid meteors are really peaking around October and November, and end of October, around Halloween and the week after Halloween. So guess what? We're right at the best time to see this. And astronomers think that this is basically leftovers from an ancient comet that basically broke apart as it traveled too close to the sun. And we're talking tens of thousands of years ago. And these are just chunks of that comet, little bits and pieces that are still orbiting the sun. And every once in a while, we can get we hit a denser part of the cloud of material left behind by that comet. And that's what causes this swarm of Torrid meteors. The last time that happened was in 2015. That year, rates for the South Torrids reached 10 per hour with numerous fireballs, such as the one pictured above. Look at that. Isn't that nice? That was taken in Tucson, Arizona by Elliot Herman. Just fantastic stuff. But of course, because of the full moon, the best time to try to find these Torrid fireballs are during the time of the lunar eclipse, that 3.5-hour window when the moon is darkened. Try to find some Torrid fireballs. Just really, really cool stuff. I put the link in there so you can read the story yourself. It's really neat. Now, what else is there? How about what else you can see in where the moon is as we gear up towards the beautiful the lunar eclipse that's happening? How about this? So here you've got where the moon is tonight, November 4th, Friday. Look at this. The moon is going to be pairing up with Jupiter on its way to its eclipse on Monday night, Tuesday morning, November 7th, 8th. So this is how the moon is traveling through the sky. It's going to be in Pisces, the constellation, the fish constellation tonight, November 4th, but it's next to the super bright planet Jupiter. You got to see this. It's a really fantastic sight, especially if you've got a phone. Take a photo. I know I'm going to. If I'm going to have clear skies tonight, I'm going to take a photo of that. And then November 5th, you can see it's just on the side there of Pisces, still within Pisces, November 6th. So that's Saturday and Sunday. And then Monday is November 7th. The moon is going to be near the planet Uranus, a green speck of light through binoculars. It's an easy sight. Try to see if you can, even though with the glare of the moon. But once it gets darkened, then you'll see the moon and Uranus close together. I'm going to talk more about this on my Stargazing the Night Sky This Week show on Monday. You don't want to miss that. That's Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm on every week, and I'll be talking about what you can see in the sky for next week. So that's it for Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday. Thanks for tuning in. It's been great seeing you guys. If you're interested in astronomy, guess what? I've got a new book that just came out. I'm so excited. It's an atlas. Yes, it's a Stargazer's Atlas published by National Geographic. I'm the lead author on this beautiful book. It's the ultimate guide to the night sky. It really is. It's 6.5 pounds of book. It's really crazy stuff, how big it is. And it's something worth I think a look. I have it on my website. I'll put a link to it. Let me see if I can do that right now. If I go to my website, and I'm going to put a link for you guys, and you can check it out there. And I also do orders for signed, dedicated copies. So if you're interested in one, I can get you one of those. There's a link to that. It's 6.5 pounds. It's a big coffee table book. It's not something that you put into a backpack. I can tell you that. It's a beautiful book. You can see it right here. I've got a copy right there. It's heavy, it's big, and it's both North and South Hemisphere. So I cover all of Earth, basically all 88 constellations, everything from satellite viewing, backgrounds of science, archaeoastronomy, astrotourism, everything. the way humans are connected to the night sky. It's in this book. It's really it was 2 years in the making, and I worked with a great team of other writers and cartographers, illustrators. National Geographic, fantastic outfit. Anyway, it's a great book. It's available wherever books are sold online, like Amazon as well, but I'm also selling signed copies, and I put a link in the comments if you're interested in picking up a copy, maybe for yourself or maybe a gift during the holidays. Anyways, that's it for Fridays. Thank you so much. Friday Find again over, and I can't wait for the weekend. Do some astronomy, some stargazing, and I'll see all of you on Monday, I hope. Until then, clear skies, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you don't want to miss out on my next videos. Bye-bye.